Blessed be, welcome to the Circle of Heka. I'm Lady Amaris. So this is just a simple little technique that you can do to just protect your home. It's for the doorway. You can also adapt it for windows and things on the outside. But if you're in an apartment, it also works quite well. So the idea is, as you can see, there's a little bit of build-up of leaves and whatnot. And this is because where I live, it's quite windy, and you find that things collect kind of in the corners. So this is about 2 to 3 days that I've left it just to show you how it goes. So it means that you want to keep your thresholds, you want to keep your doorway clean. If energy is moving towards your house, towards you, you don't want it to kind of clutter and stagnate in corners. You want it to be free-flowing and clean. So you want to make sure that your front door is clean, so a little bit of abracadabra, and you just wash down the doors, sweep everywhere, just make sure everything is nice and tidy and clean. And as you're doing it, obviously you would make sure that you have the intent of cleaning away any crud, cleaning away any kind of psychic build-up, as well as that physical build-up that may have been on your front door. You'll find that it can get quite dusty even if you don't realize it. Once you've physically cleaned the door, then you can use some kind of spray, which is a way of protecting and doing a little bit more of a deeper spiritual clean. Now I've used a little spray bottle. Now in this spray bottle I've put some Florida water, some blessed water, a little bit of salt, a little bit of rosemary, but I don't do the same thing every time. I kind of go with my gut and what needs to be done. So a little spray bottle means that it's easy to apply. As you can see, you just have a little bit of a spray and just spray over the entire area that you have, over the windows if you've got them at the front door, over the door itself, over the frame. And what this does is it makes a barrier. The Florida water is cleansing but also consecrating, and you see it as a psychic kind of barrier, almost like another door that doesn't allow anything to come in unless it's something that's conducive to your house, conducive to the people inside. It allows entry to people in general, but it means that only people who have good intent, harmonious with the dwelling, are able to have access, as well as on a psychic or spiritual level where only spirits or entities that have a conducive to you and your family will be allowed through. So that is the intent that you have with this spray as well. It is keeping the stuff that you don't want out and letting the stuff that you do want in. It's not a total you shall not pass barrier for everything. The next thing that I use is a mixture of black salt. So we've got black salt, we've got a little bit of sulfur in there, and I didn't crush it up as much as I would have liked, but you can see there's a little bit of sulfur in there. Sometimes I put a little bit of red brick, but again, I don't do the same thing every time. I mix it up a little bit. One, because doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's almost like if you can continue to do the same thing, then it's like your defenses are repeatable and people get to know them, and then they can go, all right, well, at this time this will happen, and at this time this will happen, but there's a window between here and here, so we can slip in between this time and this time, if you get my drift. So if you're doing the same thing every time, you become predictable, and you don't want to be predictable when it comes to protection of this kind. You want to mix it up. You want to have that immunity, but having that immunity means that, say the lock changes all the time. You have a different key, a different lock each time, so that entities or people of a certain ilk cannot kind of find your defenses because they're changing all the time. Now you have the basic elements, but you also mix it up a little bit. Don't do the same thing over and over again. Don't be repetitive. Not only does that make it boring, but as I said, things can start to access if you continually do the same thing. Now, the next thing that I do is underneath where the mat would be, I put a sigil of some kind, a protection symbol. And again, I don't do the same thing every single time. I have a few of my own repeatable ones that I do, but again, I will mix it up and I'll use different sigils, different ways of doing things all the time. And so at the moment I'm using chalk. This is blessed chalk. Chalk's very easy to find. You just go to any craft store, you'll probably find kids chalk. You can have different colours if you want to use some colour magic in there, or just the simple white for protection is always good. And you can use blessed chalk, or you can use chalk that has been made from powdered eggshells, and that's I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, but it's cascalia. Sorry if I've pronounced it wrong, but again, it's made from powdered eggshells, and it's blessed and consecrated, and it's made specifically for this type of thing, for protection. So you have your little protection sigil. Now these can be something that you've found that is a known protection sigil, or it's something that you've made up yourself and you use as your own personal protection sigil. And as I've said, you can mix it up a little bit. Don't do the same thing every single time. So I have this one here. Now this isn't the full sigil, this is just part of it. I won't show you the full sigil obviously, because a lady has to keep some of her secrets. But as you can see, it can be quite simple. And once you've finished your sigil, then you can place your mat over the top and no one is the wiser. It means that people who are walking across your threshold, it's almost like when you're going into a clean room and you then have to go through a certain section to become clean. So any dross that you may have, as you walk through that, it's shaken off, it's taken off, and you walk into the room clean without any kind of bugs or greeblies. And so that's the intent with that. Now you can see that after that is all done, I've also placed 2 rosemary bushes on either side, and again they are for protection. Rosemary is really good for protection, and they can form I call them my sentinels. So they are two bushes on either side. Now this is also good for if you're kind of hiding your magic in plain sight, because as you can see, you could walk up to my door and you would be none the wiser that anything had happened there, unless you were you were sensitive enough to know that, or you just feel if you were coming to my door and you had ill intent, you wouldn't feel very comfortable. But just on face value look, it doesn't look overtly witchy. It doesn't look like, oh gosh, this is a witch's house. It does, it's got pentacles and whatnot everywhere. It doesn't look like that. So for people who find that they are unable to overtly show their witchiness, this is a wonderful way of doing it. You're cleaning your door. You're doing bits and pieces. You've got sigils that are underneath the mat. So they're not shown to the public. And then if you have plants on either side, your plant pots, you can have mojo bags, you can have crystals for certain and programmed with certain intent. You can have sigils placed in there. There's hundreds of things that you can do that don't show on the outside what they are for, but they will form part of your witchy protection, your witchiness. And being a witch and using witchcraft doesn't have to be in certain ways. It can be very simple and mundane so to speak, but it can be also very powerful. And as I said, it doesn't have to have pentacles blazing. It doesn't have to have broomsticks and black cats. Everything can be hide in plain sight. The most innocuous thing could be the most powerful thing in the room. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you do things like this yourself, and if you want to employ some of these techniques, just let me know how it went and what you did, and yeah, I would like to know. So merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Blessed be. If you like this video and want to see more, please click on the links provided. If you think this witchcraft thing may be for you, please subscribe. Blessed be.